Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Brennan again, and I have been really surprised recently to be seeing many of you comment that my squats actually look pretty good. That is really surprising. Squats is something that I've always struggled with, number one being a somewhat taller lifter per se, and also just having really bad mobility and not very much flexibility in my lower body regions. It's not as bendy as I used to be. And taking a look at my older videos, it's been about a year and a half since I showed you any kind of the work I was doing. And at that point in time, a year and a half ago, I was doing everything from foam rolling to lacrosse balls to band work, probably 15 to 30 minutes every single training session, really trying to get better at mobility. And what I found was it just wasn't getting better. So what did I do? I stopped doing a lot of it just because it was wasting a lot of time. I actually found out I was fatigued from doing many of it. And again, I just wasn't seeing the results after several months of really trying to hammer it out. So that being the case, what has really helped me the most? To be honest, just squatting more. So as you guys know, I'm currently squatting 3 times a week. So that frequency is really high, not to mention the volume of which is really high. So I've just been getting a lot of time practicing this movement pattern, which obviously has some direct carryover. But in addition to that, I've just really been doing one thing for mobility, and I'm about to show you exactly what it is. So depending on how hard you creep my other videos, you might have seen this pole and band setup before. I've had it like this since I started training at home. So you could say I'm working the pole pretty hard. In fact, I'm surprised I don't have tetanus by this point because that pole doesn't necessarily look too clean. But I have a light resistance band here, one end around the pole, the other end around my rump roast, and I try to get into a squatting position. So I do this cold. So I just get in and start moving around and start trying to loosen up, force myself down. You can also see I'll use my elbows here to try to push my knees out. I'll also use the pole to kind of just brace myself and put myself into different positions. And you could probably do this without a pole or without a band, but for me, I just find it hard to do so. I know I've watched a lot of mobility videos trying to get better, and a lot of times people like Kelly Starrett, who just seem to have unlimited mobility, will say, get into this certain position, just hold it there for a couple of minutes. Well, for me, that shit is hard, and I cannot do that. So having a pole and a band here really lets me go and get into these positions that I probably wouldn't be able to otherwise. Otherwise, I would fall over or I wouldn't be able to hold it for very long. So I just really try to work things out here. So kind of similar to a goblet squat a little bit, but also allowing me to get a little bit deeper without falling over because the band's there. Using the pole to brace myself, to again rock myself into different positions. Trying to get my ankles loose as well. Other things that I'll do is I'll just do some squats with the band there for resistance. So really getting loose. And I'll do just a couple of sets of this. I don't have a prescribed routine where I say I needed to do a certain amount of time or a certain amount of repetitions of certain things. I just go in there and do this until I feel ready. And then I just start warming up with the bar. And literally that's all I've been doing, and things have felt really, really good. And if anything, I feel like my mobility has improved. Now, one of the things to point out, in case you hadn't noticed, I'm sure I'll get some comments about it, but I do have some upper back and lower back rounding when it comes to doing that exercise. So there's some butt wink and stuff there, not to mention I'm hunched over my upper back. I have no issues with this for me personally. There is no load associated with any of this movement, so there's no real risk for injury. And again, my goal here is just to get myself open and loose, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And it's been working for me. If you don't want to take that risk, then you can do whatever the you want to do. So here's a side view of my first working set. And as you can see here, I am getting pretty good depth for me. Again, you can do whatever the you want to do. But one of the things I also want to point out that sometimes it's hard to tell when people are hitting depth even from the side. So obviously if you can get this kind of angle, this is the best way to do so. But also consider that what you're looking at, your hip crease, is oftentimes obstructed by the clothing that you wear. So things are about to get really interesting or really weird, or maybe a combination of the both, as I'm doing this next set without my shorts on. So just the compression pants that I had on underneath, but maybe you weren't able to see them because they're camouflage. Strong thinking. But I wanted to show you this to show you how much of a difference it makes when you can actually see the person's hip crease. So typically when I train and wear shorts, you guys aren't able to see this, and that's not to say I'm going to be training without shorts in all these videos, but just to give you an idea of how much of a difference it makes, as it appears I'm going significantly deeper on this set, when in reality it's just the fact that you can see exactly where my hip crease is. And I've kind of noticed this in the past myself, because anytime I put up footage from a meet, a lot of people comment about how deep it looks like I'm going, but in reality I'm wearing a spandex singlet and you literally can't hide anything. And just a note to the wise out there, don't overdo it on caffeine those days, because that is a vasoconstrictor and you want to be able to show and bring the complete package for the meet, if you know what I'm saying. So just a brief recap of what's really been helping me with my depth. Obviously, more frequency has helped tremendously. That band work I showed you, and then finally taking off my shorts. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to do all 3 of those, but I would recommend it, obviously, if you're having doubts. For the frequency portion of it, this could really be important too if you're taking a deload or an off week. I know I've come back after an off week and I have just felt awful squatting. So maybe just doing some body weight movements or that band work that I showed could help make sure that you don't really lose it and you can still use it. I can't really comment more on the shorts, so I don't got much else to say, but hopefully that helps some of you going forward. All right, so as I mentioned in a video the other day, I ended up switching out my safety straps on my rack. That's why you hadn't seen these in the videos the past couple of workouts. Now, just for a little bit of backstory, from when I ordered my rack to when it arrived, Rogue had actually released a new set, an upgrade of safety straps. And although I got the old set initially and I was fine with that, after some real consideration, I decided to reach out to them and see if they would upgrade me, just because it does make a big difference in my opinion. And they responded with, as long as they're still new, we will exchange them for you at no cost. So that's great, and especially because I haven't been lifting heavy enough to fail anyways. They were still in new condition, so they switched them out and they came in the mail yesterday. Just wanted to show you some main differences. Now, unfortunately, I didn't really make any videos on these straps, the older pair, but some of you guys have noticed, and I talked about it, I think, in some of the videos, you would have actually seen a handle here for a pin, because when you adjusted these in the past, it actually wrapped all the way around on this side, and the only opening was kind of in the front. And the way that you would adjust these is basically pull the pin out, take the strap out, move this connection itself, put the pin and the strap back in together. So very time consuming, a pain in the ass. They've since switched to have the strap itself always connected, and the connection now is more similar to what they do for their J cups, where you have the opening on the side. So that way, when you want to adjust these, you simply just turn it, pull it, adjust as necessary, and just cram it in whatever holes suit your preference. So these are very much of an upgrade in my opinion, well worth it, and I'm glad I got these. As far as the safety straps themselves go, I get a lot of questions regarding them, why I chose to go this route instead of another route. I will try to talk about that in a video. I just really haven't had to use the straps too much as of late, so I haven't had any real reason to show you exactly how they work, but I'll try to fit that in soon. And another upgrade I did from Rogue. So first of all, big thanks to Rogue for actually hooking me up with these straps. They didn't have to do that, especially considering it's been like a month and a half since I took acceptance of this rack. But one of you guys, viewers, actually pointed out the fact that on my chains plates, I was using these 1 kilogram plates instead of 2.5 pound plates. And I never really thought anything of it when I got these, because I actually ordered their change plate set, which comes with 2 10-pound weights, a 5-pound weight, actually 2 5-pound weights, I should say. And then it's supposed to come with 2 2.5 pound plates, but they sent me these, and I thought that's just what they send because these are very similar in weight, probably about 2.2 pounds each, and I never thought anything of it. And then I got a comment in one of my videos saying you might as well ask them to switch out those for the 2.5 pound plates too. Did some research, saw that they did have 2.5 pound plates, and what do you know? They went ahead and sent me these as well. So the nice thing is they sent me a return label for those also. So I'm going to go ahead and package those up and ship them the old ones and use these 2.5 pound plates. Like I said, it's only really 0.3 pounds difference. So you might not even be able to tell. You can just see that it's just tiny, slightly bigger than the older plate that it's replacing. A little bit of a lip sticking out. But again, big thanks to Rogue for doing that. They didn't have to. So I really appreciate them considering all the issues I went through initially ordering racks, ordering weights, and all the things with UPS. So it's really nice to have a company that really stands behind what they do. Looking to make fitness your living? What better way than the National Academy of Sports Medicine, as they're offering a 2-week free trial of their services to become a certified personal trainer. To start your free trial, just go ahead and click on the link in the description box below or go to myusatrainer.com/CampbellFitness. As always, thanks for watching. In the meantime, stay big.